G'day, welcome to Cookouts with me. Today I am going to teach you how to hang, truss and roast a chicken over your campfire. What you're going to need is a chook, a whole one. Preferably try and find a chook that is organic and free range. You are going to grab your chicken, you're going to grab some salt. We're just going to get some really good ingredients to stuff it. I've got a lemon. I have some garlic, some sage and thyme, and then I've also got some butter. But sometimes when I'm out in the wild or I'm driving around, I might keep my eyes open for any ingredients that are growing on trees that I can forage and use that are going to add a really nice flavor to my chicken. Sometimes I use a pink peppercorn leaf, or there might be a wild rosemary bush. You can totally grab a bunch of that. What you're going to first do is stuff our chicken. So we're going to get a lemon. I like to cut my lemons open to try and get a bit of extra flavor inside the chicken. And you're just going to use the butt of the chicken where the cavity is. We're going to stuff in there the lemon. We're going to get our whole garlic and slice it in half to open up the cloves. This is going to help as it heats up. When you're thinking about what ingredients you're going to actually stuff the chicken with, you need to think about what has natural oils in it, because as this chicken heats up, the oils are actually going to come out of those ingredients that we've put inside the carcass of the chicken and give it such a beautiful flavor, as well as that delicious smoky flavor. So I have sage and I've got some thyme. I'm going to just grab that together like this and pop it also into the cavity of the chicken. Now you can stuff it all the way in. I do like to make whatever I'm cooking look pretty. I have a little vein. So I try to, stuff it in a nice way so when it's hanging it looks very picturesque. I've got some butter here. Now I'm going to pop a stick of butter. That's about 125 grams. I don't know what that is in pounds, but in America it's just a stick of butter. And then we're going to grab our other stick of butter, and I'm going to slice some little bits off, like so, probably 4 pieces of butter. And what I'm going to do is actually stuff it up under the skin of the chicken. So you've got the 2 back legs here, and if you just gently pry with your fingers away the skin from the actual flesh, you'll be able to have this little pocket where you can pop your butter in. And the aim is to actually put the butter up underneath the thighs of the chicken, because that's going to baste our chicken and give it all this beautiful flavor. So it's really easy just to pry that skin away, just very gently with your fingers, pry it away and then pop your butter. I'm also going to grab a couple of leaves of my sage, and it's got a beautiful smell to it. It's going to taste so good. We'll pop that up under our chicken as well, under his little thighs there. It's also going to look super pretty as it's cooking, and that sage is going to crispen up and give it such a nice flavor. Now our chicken is ready to truss. I don't do any more than just stuff the carcass and pop some butter and sage or whatever herb you have up under the chicken's thighs. The reason being is we're going to truss it, and once we've trussed it, we're then going to oil and salt it. Otherwise it's going to be too oily and salty for you to truss. Now this is the fun part. This is some gardening wire, or in America they call it picture frame wire. You can pick it up from your local hardware store. I generally get 2 sizes. One is a thinner one, so it's really easy to turn around, and the other one I get is a little bit thicker. And the reason I get a thicker one is because I want to have anchor points to hang our chicken, and I'll show you what that means later. You're like, what the hell is she talking about? We're going to get some butcher's twine. Make sure with your butcher's twine that you get one that isn't plastic. You want it to be cotton, or when it's hanging over the fire it could catch a light and fall. I definitely did not cut enough there, so start again, Sarah. It might fall into the fire. So we're going to get probably about 2 meters, that's 6 feet of butcher's twine. And if you've never trussed a chicken before, I'm going to show you, but also the idea is you just don't want the chicken to fall in the fire, and you don't want all our stuffing to fall out. So we're just trying to create a really neat little present. So we're going to pop it into about halfway mark here. So we've got 2 equal parts of trussing string. I'm going to bring my fingers down so that it's even. I'm going to go up under the legs of the chicken. So the chicken legs are facing away from me, and his butt's that way. So we're going to go up under, and then with my hands I'm actually going to cross it over. So you're just going to cross that and pull it nice and tight. You really need to practice on keeping your tension with your string, and it might take a few goes, and that's totally okay. Just practice. We're going to flip him over, or her I should say, up under the back wings here. This just gives me anchor points so that the string doesn't fall out while I'm trussing it. So you're going to go up under again, cross it over, and we're going to pull it nice and tight as you can get it, and we're flipping the chicken back over. Now it doesn't matter if her wings fly out, she won't fly away. So that's a really bad joke. We're now going to pull it nice and tight like a present, flip it back over, and again, the aim of the game is just so the chicken doesn't, like all the stuffing and everything doesn't fly out. So I'm going to go back up under. This is an important part. I actually grab my string here. This is the parson's nose. I bring it up under and I loop it under her drumsticks, so that if I went over here, there's like, it might move around, whereas this way it will stay really tight. So again, it's like that present. Flip it over until you've used up all of your string. Pull it nice and tight. Now my wire is just there so that if the string was to burn, you've got a secondary holding point. Also, the thing with our chicken is that whenever you're cooking meat over fire, or any vegetables for that matter, it's going to shrink because the water is actually being taken out of it as you're introducing smoke into it. So you can see it's really nice and tight there. It's okay if it's bulging like that, that's great. Now what we're going to do is grab some wire. So this is the thinner wire. I may not use the thicker wire today. I'll just see how it wraps up. So I always have a handy pair of, these are long nose pliers, I think. Is that right? Pliers. And then there's a little like handy cutting bit here for your wire. So again, you're going to make it halfway, and this is easy. You're just going to wrap it like a present. So you're going to go over, cross it nice and tight, up under, remember under the back legs here, pulling it really tight with as much tension that you can. Flip it, and you're just going to keep repeating that until you've used your wire up. You'll probably get two present wrapping, I don't know, what do you call it, crosses? Just baking up stuff here. And you're going to pull it nice and tight. I have done so many chickens before. Recently I did a wedding for some friends, and we cooked 50 chickens like this over the fire, and I didn't lose one. So it does work. And then I'm just looping my wire back up under it, so pull it extra tight. Again, it's just because you're going to get shrinkage on your chicken as it cooks, so you want to make sure that you get that super tight. Now I'm going to cut off that last bit of wire. I'm pretty happy with how this chicken is looking. I'm probably not going to use my thicker wire on it. It's feeling like it's going to hold really nice and tight here, and I'm just going to season it with some salt. Give it a really good rub. In my pot here, I've got some butter, which I'm going to pop by the fire. So as it melts down, I'm actually going to baste my chicken in what we call ghee while it cooks. So we're just going to give that a really good rub in some beautiful sea salt, or this is a kosher salt. Really make sure you massage that into its skin, because that's going to create a lovely crispy layer. And let's go to our fire with our chicken and our butter. So I've got some butter in my pot here, and I'm going to just pop it by the side of the fire. The radiant heat from my fire will melt the butter. Now you don't want your butter like burning, so you don't want it so hot that it's bubbling. We just want it like, so it's almost like a really low simmering heat. I have got this, my tripod. So this is by Campfire Australia. And it's a bit hard with the chicken in my hand. I'm just going to pop my chicken here. Sit there for a minute, mister, missus. I'm calling it a guy. Alright, so we're going to get our tripod, and we're just simply going to open it up over our fire, and we're just going to put a little bit of pressure onto it to make sure that it's going to hold the weight of our chicken. So the fire I've had burning for probably an hour and a half now. You can see it's got some really nice coals here. It's still got a little bit of flame, which is great. Chicken's falling in. There we go, we're good. You do want a little bit of flame with this chicken, particularly today. It's a little bit cooler, so I'm going to lose a bit of my radiant heat to the natural elements of the great outdoors. This has got this handy little part on it that has got a hook. Now you can get an additional butcher's hook to hang your chicken on if that's a little intimidating for you just to come straight in on the fire yourself. We're going to hook our chicken through the wire in the center part, and the way I've hung it is breast up to the sky and the back down to the fire. And the reason I do that is your breast is actually the most tender part of meat, so if I put that down to the fire first, it's actually going to cook and dry out, and we're going to lose a lot of that beautiful moisture and flavor in our chicken. And so many people think that like cooking a chicken like this is just going to dry out and be horrible. It's not. I promise you it's going to be so moist and delicious. So breast up, I'm probably going to give it half an hour. I can feel with my hand that it's getting a nice amount of heat here. If you're a little unsure about cooking chickens and when it's done, I would suggest using a thermometer that you can just pop in to get your temperature of your chicken. You're looking at about 65 Celsius, or sorry, is it 65, 70 Celsius or 165 Fahrenheit for your chicken to be cooked, and you would check up under the thigh of it to see if that's at that temperature, but I'll teach you that a little bit later on. My butter is melting down a little bit now, which is awesome. I'm going to give it a few more minutes and then I'm going to baste my chicken, and this is where you would just sit back with a book and read. It's going to take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to cook, so plenty of time to go on an adventure. So about every 20 to 30 minutes you want to be basting your chicken in this butter mixture. So it's just butter in a pan over the fire just to the side, and you're just taking the little like clear liquid off the top of the butter and simply spooning it over the chicken. And you're going to rotate, as you rotate the chicken every 30 to 20 minutes as well. You'll just keep basting this. This is going to be adding moisture back into it and lots of delicious flavor. You can see it's been getting nice and golden in color as well. I might have actually burned it a tiny bit on the bum, but that's okay. It's going to taste delicious. You can see how much the chicken has shrunk while it's been cooking, so that's why it's important that you add the wire onto it. And we're just going to take our wire cutters and simply cut at the cross part of where the chicken has been pulled together, and you're just going to take all of that wire off. Make sure you really put that to the side. You don't want that going in on your meat. And then we're going to cut the trussing string off as well. Oh god, this looks so good. Look at that beautiful color and flavor. It's been cooking for about 2 hours. And another way you can also tell that the chicken's done is you'll pull to the side and the juices will run clear under the thighs of the chicken, and she's definitely, I don't know why I keep calling it a bloody male. So we're going to cut our thighs off. Here is one beautifully cooked thigh. 2. And normally if this is cooked really well, you can actually just run the knife straight down the back here. You're just going to pry the breast off. And slice it up. And serve it with your favourite roast vegetables, which you can cook in your little camp oven. And so you can also make a nice stock with this. Oh, my hat's about to fly off. With the carcass of the chicken as well. And your wings will just fall off. And don't forget the parson's nose. It's a very tasty part of your chicken. And you can keep pulling the meat off there if you want to, but there's your roast chicken. Super easy, really simple, just takes a little bit of patience because it does take a few hours and you've got to watch it and rotate it. But I believe you me, this flavor will blow your mind and change the way that you roast a chicken. Don't forget to leave me some comments, subscribe, hit the bell button. We'll see you next time.
You ever wonder? You ever